Happy New Decade, everyone! Woohoo! Here we go, 2020, Hype Squad. Where are you at? Whatever. All right, I'm done with that. Anyway, this video is gonna be much more concise. The last one I tried to make, I just ended up rambling for the better part of an hour. It was really scatterbrained, and it wasn't good. So this one I'm gonna be more concise, to the point. I have two pieces of poetry that I want to read. I want to shout out some stuff, and I have some like mental bullet points in my mind, basically, of topics I want to hit. So let's make this quick. Hopefully, 10-15 minutes. Anyway, excuse me. Happy New Year, Happy New Decade. I hope that the next 10 years bring some of the best things that you can imagine. Some of the greatest memories of your entire life. The best time of your life, the prime years, the prime memories. I hope that stories are created that are going to be passed down for generations. That you're going to tell your kids and your grandkids and your great grandchildren will hear about it somehow, and just it'll keep going on and on for who knows how long. I hope this is the decade that everything goes great for you, or continues to go great for you, whatever, but that something lucky happens, a lucky chain of events perhaps, where, in whatever, here we go, this is starting to resemble the last video again. I'm not going to get caught in this, let's make it quicker. I hope that this is the year and the decade that you believe or continue to believe in yourself. Most importantly, I know it's cliche advice, it's as cliche as it gets, but the reason that so many people say it is because so many people know that it's true. You gotta believe in yourself, and you always have to, don't be closed-minded, you gotta be willing to make changes, for self-improvement, self-evolution, all that kind of stuff, and that's only when, you can grow and expand mentally, and kind of settle into your own mind. It's a really weird way of putting it, but whatever. But I hope that this, I was all fired up and ready to go before we got started. I hope that, I had specific words I wanted to use. I should have wrote them down. What am I trying to say here? Oh, yes. I just lost it again. Hold on, let me pause this. Make sure that you leave your mark on this planet, all right? Make sure that this world will never be the same again after you have lived and after you have done what you're going to do in this decade. Leave an impact on the planet. When you die, make sure you're not forgotten. Make sure that the legend of you lives on. Make sure that people remember who you were for the end of and the rest of humanity. And whatever you want to do, whatever field that, whatever is your specialty, whatever is your talent, your calling, pursue that. Don't let anything or anyone distract you from that. That is your singular purpose that you're here to fulfill, and that's what you're going to do, and nothing's going to stand in your way from that. Am I right? Right. All right. So, don't follow in anyone's footsteps is my advice. Make your own. If you have any idols or, just people you look up to, just remember, don't try to be like them, because they've already done or are currently doing or whatever they came here to do. They're already, doing their specialty and whatever they're famous for. And that's their thing. And you got your thing. And that's just as good. And just trust me on that, or at least it has the potential to be just as good. Good, of course, being subjective. Everyone has their own definitions of that. But don't be too hard on yourself, but also don't be lazy. You got to find that balance there, all right? This wasn't just supposed to be an advice video, but you know what I mean. I just want to set the tone here to get you excited for the new decade, because this is going to be the best decade of your life, the best year of your life, 2020, 2020 slips right off the tongue. It's a catch. We're living in the future. I mean, hey, look at that. You know, all these like movies and stuff and comic books or whatever from like the 20th century. This is the time they were set in. This is the future. This is the crazy, wacky sci-fi world we live in. So, you know what? I I want you to be the first person to do something. I want you to either invent something or travel somewhere or break a world record in something. That would be really cool. Um, you know, just whatever. I want to see just people in general succeed, and you definitely have the power to do that. So, believe in yourself and no, don't think no because it is a fact. It's scientifically proven. It's yeah. I could show you the mathematical formula, but it's way too long and complicated. You have to be a 400 IQ Rick and Morty viewer like me to truly decode it. But it's scientifically proven. You can do whatever you set your mind to. Now, that has its own limits and everything. There are some things that you can't do. I guess that I feel like there's a better way to word that, but whatever. But find what you're good at, if you haven't already, and do that. Stick to that. Expand upon that. Make that the focus of your life, and it will lead to happiness and success. But yes, make your dreams come true. I know this sounds like shallow advice, but I'll tell you what. If you email me at joshuaisokay@gmail.com, like some of you have done already, I've had great back and forth exchanges with some of you, really overwhelmingly positive interactions. I've gotten to know some of you quite well, even in person, for those of you who are local, or have come here or whatever. But just send me an email, joshuaisokay@gmail.com. You can tell me as much or as little as you want about your life situation or particular things, and I just enjoy meeting new people and learning things about people and reading things and all that. So whatever you want to send me, I'll respond to. If you want to ask for advice about something in particular, or you have a question about whatever on my channel or my personal life or whatever it may be, whatever, and if I see the particular opportunity, I might even send you a link to my Skype page where we can potentially video chat. Don't get your hopes up though; that's very rare. It's only happened with I believe 3 subscribers up until this point. So but who knows? You could be next. But yeah, I'd love to to chat with you folks. You get more personalized, detailed stuff there. But I really do wish you the best, though. I just want to say that, get that out there. Nobody's telling me to say this here. But I want. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't say that. Anyway, moving on. Let's get into some poetry, I guess. Because I don't know how else to segue to this. But all right, so I guess we'll start with this one. This is an original of mine. I had mentioned a little while ago that I was getting back into poetry. Well, not really back into, because I hadn't really delved into poetry much. It was mostly just fiction writing and all that. But this is one of my first poems. It's very entry level, and at times it can seem like it was written by a 12-year-old or something, like that thinks they're being all philosophical and deep and all that. So it can be a bit pseudo-intellectual at times. But hey, cut me some slack here. I'm new to the whole thing. I don't normally read my own works on here. This is the first time actually. But I figured, hey, it's a special occasion. Let me give you some context here. This was originally, I wrote this in an email to someone for their birthday. So this is a birthday poem, but you can change some of the words around and stuff like that to make it about New Year, New Decade, whatever. But the point is, it's just about, in general, just the elapsing of time and all that. I'm not going to give it any pretentious introduction or anything like that, but without further ado, here it is. Age is just a number, and so is the date, and so is the time, and so is your weight. But it is these algorithmic cycles, these pieces of math, that determine your fate and shape your path. Days are just a bridge, they're never meant to last. Still some drag on crawling, while others fly by fast. But it is within these sequences of minutes and hours that we are given examples of mysterious powers. The world you've been born into that you must share with 7 billion people who don't seem to care. Itself keeps aging and feeling the effects of 7 billion people and all of their mess. Senseless epilogues and moralless stories, the seemingly random and more or less boring, are assigned significance, the explanation most adequate to match the discretion of its protagonist, parentheses S. All things are finite, all things must end, except the things that are not things, and act more as a friend. With so many questions, so much left unknown, if you draw your own conclusions, you might end up alone. A bed is a bed, no matter the room it's in, and food is still food, no matter where it's been. And be it a bed for the soul, or food for the mind, it functions to distract and distort your finds. Age is just a number, and so is today, but you're just numbers too, so happy birthday. Yeah, well, okay, well, that wasn't quite what I remember, but it's sort of a blind reaction to my own work there, but yeah, not really as impressive as I remember, but you know, there's some cool stuff in there. I guess I don't. It's a stretch to call that relevant, but it's the most relevant now, I guess, than it would be. I don't want to make a whole video just dedicated to that. Another thing here, the other one, I guess we'll you know, while we're in the mode, I'll just go ahead with the other one. This is not an original. This is from the work of H.P. Lovecraft in what book was it? The Tomb, I want to say. I think it's The Tomb, but this is, you know, this is just it doesn't need to have any context actually, and that's the great thing about it. But it's just so upbeat and like uncharacteristic of H.P. Lovecraft. I think this really, like, every time I read this, it makes me feel good. I don't know. It makes me feel inspired. I think it's a good thing to read at a time like this. So without further ado, here it is. Come hither, my lads, with your tankards of ale, and drink to the present before it shall fail. Pile each on your platter a mountain of beef, for 'tis eating and drinking that bring us relief. So fill up your glass, for life will soon pass. When you're dead, you'll ne'er drink to your king nor your lass. A Nearcron had a red nose, so they say, but what's a red nose if you're happy and gay? Now, this is written in like 1917, so you know, these words have different definitions. Gad split me, I'd rather be red whilst I'm here, than white as a lily and dead half a year. So Betty, my miss, come give me a kiss. In hell there's no innkeeper's daughter like this. Young Harry, propped up just as straight as he's able, will soon lose his wig and slip under the table. But fill up your goblets and pass 'em around, better under the table than under the ground. So revel and chaff as ye thirstily quaff, under 6 feet of dirt 'tis less easy to laugh. The fiends strike me blue, I'm scarce able to walk, and curse me if I can stand upright or talk. Here, landlord, bid Betty to summon a chair. I'll try home for a while, for my wife is not there. So lend me a hand, I'm not able to stand, but I'm gay whilst I linger on top of the land. So yeah, there you go. You can interpret that a number of ways, but, you know, obviously the easy way is just, you know, enjoy the present moment and, you know, live life to the fullest. And, you know, just have a good time while you're here, or at least try to, you know. That's just solid advice, I would say. You know, try to be happy, experience positive emotions, but keep in mind, just because you're not happy right now, or you're maybe going through a rough patch or something like that, it's okay. It's part of the spectrum of humanity, you know. That's what sets us aside from robots, you know. It's just emotions in general, and it's all part of the cycle. It's all part of the spectrum. You'll be fine. Just be patient. You know, wait things out, and you know, if you force a fake smile, a real one will come. So, you know, act like you're happy, and eventually you'll be happy. And as long as you portray, display, I don't know exactly what the word I'm looking for is, but as long as your output to the people around you and, society as a whole is mostly positive, then it's going to make those around you feel good and feel positive, and they'll sense that positive energy, and then it'll brighten up their day, and then they'll act more positive, and it's a chain reaction, it's a domino effect, and then and then you'll feel good because you made them feel good and everything like that. As opposed to the opposite's also true if you're just depressed or angry or anxious or whatever, you're feeling some negative emotion, and then you go out in public and it's very obvious to everyone that that's the case, and they can feel the same, and then it's a chain reaction of negativity, because then you feel bad that you're making them feel bad, and ruining their day, raining on their parade, and then it just makes you feel even worse and all that. So try not to fall into that cycle. All right, try to make it the positive one. That would be my advice. And another important one: be around people that make you feel good. That's another thing. Too. At least try to. Trust me, there are people. What am I holding? I'm holding a toy golf cart. Set that down. But yeah, I don't want to dwell on this too much because it's too general, and I just feel so surface level saying things like this. So, if you want more in-depth stuff like that, feel free to email me, or even just in general, like if you want to collaborate, for example. I'm in a particular phase right now that I'm looking to collaborate with someone. I don't care who. I don't care what kind of thing you want to make together, as long as it's art. I want to do something. I want to make something. So, if you want to go ahead and email me, joshuazok@gmail.com, the official email address of the world's greatest YouTuber, Mr. Everything Man. We can collaborate about something. I have already done a few collaborations up to this point, so, I know how that works. The most famous of which, I guess I'll just go ahead and spill the beans. When else am I going to say this? A while back, actually right before I started this channel, in April of 2018 is when it was recorded. The video itself wasn't actually uploaded till November, December of 2018. But in April of 2018, I guess I joined a local improv comedy, or it's not really even improv, but a local comedy trope, or is that the pronunciation? Whatever, you know what I'm trying to say. A local comedy trope here. They're based out of, I believe, Port St. Lucie, Florida, and I discovered them because we went to the same college. We weren't in the same class, but we were at this. It's a small campus and everything, so we ran into each other a lot. And eventually, they recruited me. They're like, hey, you're a funny guy. How'd you like to be on our team? And they offered me to tour with them and stuff like that because they're pretty well known, or at least they were at the time. I guess their subscriber count's down a lot now or whatever because they've been inactive. But I declined the offer because I had stuff going on. I kind of needed to stay local. But I agreed to be in a video of theirs. I was only in one video, though, during my time there, which was a couple semesters. And that video is called Ziad's Skyward Addiction. That's Ziyaad apostrophe S, Ziad's Skyward Addiction, which was a parody of My Strange Addiction, the show. It's by A&R, is the name of the comedy trope. I'm no longer with them. I'd still see them occasionally at the college and stuff, but I haven't really talked to any of them in a while. But I'm actually not too familiar with most of their stuff. I just watched the video back, and it's okay. But keep in mind, like I said, this was recorded before I had a YouTube channel of my own, so I didn't really have much experience with stuff for the internet. Another backstory here, because if you go and watch it, I don't come in until 80% of the way through, but you should still watch it from the beginning, for the full immersive experience. But the thing with that is, I didn't know who any of them were. Obviously, I was just walking down I was just walking outside on the campus, and one of the people, there's the guy with the camera, and then the other one with the microphone. And the one with the microphone stopped me while I was walking and said, hey, excuse me. And we had never talked up to this point. I said, hey, excuse me, would you mind being in our video, like giving us a little clip for a video here? And I had never done something like that before, so it was exciting for me. I was like, oh, sure. What kind of video is it? I'm like, oh, don't worry about it. They wouldn't tell me anything about it, so I had no idea what I was participating in. But all they said was, all right, so we're gonna give you a prompt, and then you just make up something, just ad lib it. And so they didn't tell me what it was. They didn't tell me what it was a parody of or anything like that. And so so the guy said, the cameraman, how do you feel about Ziad's Skyward Addiction? And then he turned the camera on, and I said, well, it's really and then whatever I said. But the thing is, I misheard him. I thought he said Ziosk Skyward Addiction. Ziosk being like the thing that they have at some restaurants like Chili's and stuff that has like the games. So in my mind, I thought they were like in general people who are addicted to Ziosk, and I thought Skyward was like, I don't know, maybe a game on there or something like that. I don't know what it was, but I was like, Ziosk Skyward Addiction. So that's what I said. But yeah, Ziosk Skyward Addiction. It's kind of weird. And like the scene at the end where I'm like, we can't lose you to this machine. What that is because I thought it was Ziosk again. So I'm like, the Ziosk is a machine. So in my mind, that's what I thought it was, and I felt like a fool afterwards. But yeah, just so you know, as a heads up there, that's the most popular thing I participated in. I also hosted pretty recently a Q&A for Doodle Noodle, which is one of my top tier fans. So Doodle Noodle and I have communicated behind the scenes many a time. We get along famously. I'd love to do something else with you, Doodle Noodle, if you're watching. I know you are. But yeah, so over on Doodle Noodle's channel is a Q&A. I think it's called like Birthday Q&A or something like that. I hosted that because he doesn't show his face or use his voice or anything like that. So he asked me to officially represent that. So that's what I did. Let's see. I think those are the only two that are on YouTube publicly. I did another one that was like it was for a skating video. Again, this was at the college. It was actually I filmed an episode of Tales from the Fifth Dimension, and then those people are like, yeah, we're trying to get started a YouTube channel too. And they're like, oh really? And like, yeah, do you wanna come give us some footage? This is right after we got finished with the episode. I'm like, oh sure. So we went, and they're like, yeah, it's a skating channel. And he's like, all right, so here's what I want you to do, because it's going to be mostly skating, but then every once in a while we'll cut to something unrelated. So what we want you to do is, this scene is going to be, I'm going to do a skating trick, a trick with the skateboard, and then as soon as I go off frame, you walk out and just like say something random, give like a random like speech for like a minute. You think you could do that about something that has nothing to do with skating? You think you could do that? I'm like, oh yeah, sure, random's my thing. So it took a bunch of takes. I was just kind of standing in the wings there, and so eventually, they got the trick, and then I came out, and I'd said something like, my thing that I went with was like, this is like a year and a half ago. It was when my channel was fairly new. It was like during the first season of Tales from the Fifth Dimension. So, I did something. I was being an IDCP agent because I happened to be dressed pretty formally that day for whatever reason, I don't know. But I had the top hat and everything. So, I was doing like some kind of news story or something. I was like, 12 vinegar eels and 8 IDCP agents. That was the scene today at the Uncle Gary station where your blood has been spilled once again by the Gnorfs and the Frobbles and whatever. I just made up some stuff, some news story for like a minute. And then, I was like, this is Agent, I forget what name I gave it, Agent, whatever, the IDCP, checking in. And then I said like the name of the channel, I forget what it was. It was like Friends Skate or something like that. The official Friends Skate correspondent, Agent Earl, of the IDCP, and then whatever, and they're like, oh, perfect, it's great, and then we'll cut back to skating. But something happened. They had like creative differences between the two of them or whatever, and the channel never ended up getting made, so that footage is just lost. I don't have it because it was them that were recording it, so I haven't seen them since, except for I saw them like 3 months later, and I was like, hey, did you ever upload that video? Like, no, we ended up not making the channel, So, you know, whatever, and I haven't seen them since then. So, I don't know what happened, but yeah, so I've done collaborations before, but I'll do anything really. I'm down for, you know, just about anything. But yeah, you can check out Ziad's Skyward Addiction if you want. That's probably my biggest cameo outside of my channel. And like I said, it's kind of it's very timed because, you know, I was a lot more like awkward and nervous and stuff like that. My improvisational abilities weren't fully developed because it was before I had a channel of my own. But, you know, whatever. I still look back on it and smile. Anyway, this video is way longer than I thought it would be, so I'm gonna wrap it up here. Cheers to 2020, the year in the decade, the best time of your life. It's gonna be great. I'm telling you right now. I got some things planned. Things are looking up for me right now. I got some plans, some big plans for the channel, for my music and for stuff like that. Just really in every aspect of my life, I have certain things to implement for improvement and everything like that. So, you know, I think it's going to be one for the record books for me, for you, for the world, for everything, even for the vinegar eels. You know, whatever it is. But yeah, so what I want you to do, go find a cup or a glass or some kind of container, some kind of a tankard of ale, perhaps, at, you know, whatever, and thirstily quaff, revel and chaff, whatever, and let's make a toast to 2020, the year in the decade, the best of all time. Here, I'm gonna go through my screen, through your screen, right into your soul. There you go. Good luck out there. But I mean, not that you need luck anyway, because you're awesome. You make your own luck. So yeah, feel free to hit me up, joshuaisokay@gmail.com, if you want. And otherwise, yeah, knock 'em dead out there. You, Happy New Year, Happy New Decade.